Let's solve these really easy questions before I move on to absolute value linear equations. These two things are important. That's why I'm writing them here. Absolute value linear equations and absolute value inequalities. These two things are very important because you will definitely get questions in which the examiner will combine absolute values with linear equations and with inequalities. Okay, so what is 7 minus x? You do the basic math just like you do with normal numbers. We have these bars, 7 minus 6 is 1, and when you open this, you will get 1. That's your answer. Okay, minus 3, mod of minus 3 is 3, very simple. 2 minus 7, you solve this, you get minus 5 mod, but when you open it, it becomes positive. The output will always be positive. So the answer is 5. Now let's have a look at some of the equations involving absolute values. Okay, how do we solve an absolute value equation? I'll just share a couple of tips with you that you need to remember. First of all, we need to get rid of these bars and put simple bracket. Okay, so you have a minus 3 equals 2. But when you got rid of these brackets, definitely something should happen. You can't just get rid of these brackets just like that. So what do? You put plus minus outside these brackets. Now the question is, why did we put plus minus? What is this? You need to understand that we talked about the output. The output, which is your y, which is your f of x, that will always be positive. But when we are solving an equation, we are finding our x, we are finding our input. And input, the domain, x can be positive, greater than 0, or x can be negative as well. If you remember this part, you see the input, it's minus 5. So x can be negative, but the output will always be positive. Hence, we need to take care of that. That is why we put plus minus negative sign, and we will always get two answers. Whenever you have an absolute value linear equation, you will get two answers. One for the positive sign and one with the negative sign. Let me solve this and let's see what do we get. So with the positive, we have a minus 3 equals 2, and with the negative, we have minus a minus 3 equals 2. Let's do the math. A equals 5, 2 plus 3, 5, and over here we have, you can either take the negative sign to that side or multiply this with this expression. Minus a plus 3 equals 2, minus a equals 2 minus 3 is minus 1, and a equals 1. So we have two answers, a1 and a5. Now let's test these answers as well. Let's put 5 into this and let's see what do we get. So if I put 5 into the equation, I will get mod of 5 minus 3. What do I get? Mod of 2, that is equal to 2. So it's completely fine. 5 satisfies this equation. Now let's have a look at 1. 1 minus 3 mod, does this give me 2? We are left with minus 2 mod. When opened, it will give me 2. So 1 also satisfies this equation. Hence, we get two answers. Remember this. Let's solve this question now. It's very similar, but now we have a negative sign outside the modulus bars. First of all, we need to get rid of this negative sign. Multiply the entire equation by minus 1. So we will get mod a minus 5 equals 2. Now you do the same thing that we've done earlier. Get rid of these bars and we'll be left with a minus 5 equals 2. Now put positive negative here. You can put positive negative on the right side as well. It's completely fine. So the first equation becomes a minus 5 equals 2. This is with the positive sign. And the second equation is with the negative sign, which is minus a minus 5 equals 2. That's it. So let's solve this first. We have minus a plus 5 equals 2. Minus a is 2 minus 5 minus 3, and a equals 3. This is one answer. Let's solve the positive one, and this is a equals 2 plus 5, 7. You can test these answers as well. Put 7 and 3 into this equation and you will see you will get minus 2. Let's now look at absolute value inequalities. Everything remains the same. In earlier questions, instead of this less than or greater than sign, we had an equal to sign. That's it. Okay, let's solve this. Just remember, whenever you multiply or divide an inequality with a negative sign, the inequality flips. That's the only trick. So we have our negative sign here. We are multiplying this entire inequality with -1, so the inequality will flip. We'll be left with b minus 3 mod is greater than 5. That's it. Everything else remains the same. So we have positive, negative, b minus 3 is greater than 5. One equation is positive, b minus 3 is greater than 5, and the second equation is minus b minus 3 is greater than 5. If we solve this, we get b is greater than 8, and if we solve this, we have minus b plus 3 is greater than 5. Do the math. Minus b is greater than 5 minus 3, 2. Now again, we are multiplying an inequality with a negative sign. The inequality will flip. B is less than minus 2. These are our answers. B is greater than 8 and B is less than minus 2. Let's solve this absolute value inequality. Same question again. Plus minus b minus 11 is greater than equal to 7. With positive, we have b minus 11 is greater than equal to 7. And with negative, we have minus b minus 11 is greater than equal to 7. Let's just solve these. We have b is greater than equal to 7 plus 11 is 18. And with this, we have minus b plus 11 is greater than equal to 7. Minus b is greater than equal to 7 minus 11 is minus 4. B is less than equal to 4. These are our inequalities. You can combine them as well. It's completely up to you. If we combine them, we will get b is greater than equal to 18 and less than equal to 4. That's your answer. Now that we have looked at some of the basics of absolute values, let's revise and sum up some of the rules that we have done so far. Let's begin. So if we have mod of x equals a and a is basically greater than 0, then what's our answer? Then the answer is basically x equals a or x equals minus a. This is what we have been doing. Do the simple math and you will see. Okay, the next scenario is this, where we have mod of x is less than a. We have an inequality and a is greater than 0. What's our answer now? Then our answer basically becomes x is greater than minus a or less than a. It's the same thing, just do the math and you will see. How do we solve this? We write it like this: positive and negative x is less than a. With the positive, the sign remains the same, x is less than a. But with the negative, you see the inequality will flip and our answer will be x is greater than minus a. So x is greater than minus a and x is less than a. See? Okay, so the third scenario is where mod of x is greater than a and a is definitely greater than 0. What's our answer now? Then we have x is greater than a or x is less than minus a. And lastly, we have, let's say, mod of x minus 5 equals mod of 5 minus x. Please remember that these two are equal because the inequality, the modulus bars will convert everything into positive. Let's say we have x as 3. Let's solve this. So 3 minus 5 mod, what do you get? You get minus 2 and finally you have 2. And in this scenario, we have 5 minus 3 mod, you get 2 mod, which is equal to 2. So you see the answers are equal. Please remember these couple of rules. In the next video, I am going to look at the practical world applications of absolute values.